Grand Chapter.
Grand officers will take station in Supreme Grand Chapter. Be seated, ladies, companions and brethren.
Companions, in the name of the Most High, I declare this Supreme Grand Chapter called on in ample, ancient and solemn form.
Eminent and excellent companions and companions. I call upon you to greet the most eminent First Grand Principal with grand honours 9 times. Be seated, companions.
Companions, I thank you for your very gracious salutations, and I return to each of you my warmest fraternal greetings. Right Eminent Companion, Grand Scribe Ezra. Are there any apologies?
Most Eminent First Grand Principal, I have received the following apologies from these past Grand Zerubbabels. Most Eminent Companion H.D. Parasine, OAM. Most Eminent Companion W.P. Burston. Most Eminent Companion B.C. Rees. Most Eminent Companion I.G. McClellan. Most Eminent Companion G.H. Turpin. Most Eminent Companion L.G. Patterson. Most Eminent Companion J. Blythman. Most Eminent Companion G.M. Harmer. And Most Eminent Companion S.G. Mason. And from the following past Deputy Grand Zerubbabels: Right Eminent Companion A.M. Williams, Right Eminent Companion D.A. Nichols, Right Eminent Companion W.P. White, and Right Eminent Companion M.D. Hewish. And also from Right Eminent Companion D. Dragolovic, past Grand Jesuit Grand Registrar, and Eminent Companion A. Tyndall, Grand Steward.
Thank you. Companions, it's my great pleasure now to welcome some of our distinguished guests in the person of Most Worshipful Brother Richard Elkington, Grand Master of the United Grand Lodge of Victoria, Right Eminent Companion Anthony Bucher, Deputy Grand Master, Most Worshipful Brother Bill Jones, Grand Master of the United Grand Lodge of Mark Master Masons of Victoria, and Right Worshipful Brother Ron Goodburn, Deputy Grand Master. And I'm very pleased to say that our teams, the Grand Chapter teams and the Grand Mark teams, have a great deal of abilities amongst us to interchange members. And I'm very pleased to report to you all that our eminent Grand Sword Bearer, Eminent Companion Ron Goodburn, is now the Right Worshipful Brother Deputy Grand Master of Grand Mark of Victoria, and congratulations, Ron, in that. And also, of course, another one of our team members who's not in camera range, or in fact, is Eminent Companion Paul Rigby, Grand Steward, who has been appointed in the Grand Mark team as the Right Worshipful Junior Grand Warden. So we have a very talented lot. And of course also we have our third Grand Principal in Right Eminent Companion Brian, who has been appointed a Senior Grand Overseer in the Grand Mark, and also our second Grand Principal, who has been appointed a Grand Steward in the Grand Mark team. So you can see that where the basis of the Grand Mark team is coming from, because we have such talent in the room. It's really great, and I do congratulate everybody on their promotions and involvement. I think it's just great, really, that we have this interchange going. I'd also like to welcome the ladies this morning. Now, they're sort of spread so far apart that the cameraman is really going to have his work cut out for him, I think. But I'd like to say welcome to Mrs. Kay Ives, Mrs. Anne Lacey, Mrs. Helen Gurr, and Mrs. Heather White. And I do thank you, ladies, for coming along today. And of course, I also would welcome all those who are viewing this ceremony, wherever you may be. And I thank you for joining us on this very special occasion. A very eminent Grand Director of Ceremonies, you will form an escort for the purpose of introducing the first Grand Principal elect.
Very Eminent Grand Director of Ceremonies seeks admission.
Most Eminent First Grand Principal, the Very Eminent Grand Director of Ceremonies seeks admission.
Very Eminent Grand Scribe Nehemiah, you will admit him.
Most Eminent First Grand Principal, the Right Eminent First Grand Principal-elect is available for installation when it is your pleasure to receive him.
Very Eminent Grand Director of Ceremonies, you will admit him and present him from the west. I think that should have been in the west.
Most Eminent First Grand Principal, I present to you for investiture and installation Right Eminent Companion John Charles Ives, who has been elected as First Grand Principal of the Supreme Grand Chapter of Royal Archmasons of Victoria for the ensuing 12 months.
Thank you, Very Eminent Companion Grand Director of Ceremony. Right Eminent Companion Ives, the exalted station to which the free choice of your companions has called you involves great and solemn responsibilities. The elevated position into which your powers and prerogatives may depart at the expiration of your term of office, but the honour and dignity, except by your own act, never. You are here in the presence of all here assembled and those viewing this ceremony, presented for installation into the chair of this Grand Chapter, that you may be competent to undertake the functions entrusted to you. We are on the threshold of a great and important undertaking, and the teachings we received at our initiation into Freemasonry requires us to bend in solemn prayer to the true and living God Most High, to seek His blessing on our proceedings.
O eternal God, author of all light and wisdom, we ask thy divine blessing upon these thy servants, the principals of this Grand Chapter, who are now to be invested with supreme authority therein, to rule and direct the work committed to their care. Give to each of them a measure of wisdom, that they may rule with discretion, judge with firmness, yet ever inclined to mercy. Do thou shed light upon our assemblies, that we may and reverently discharge our duty and consecrate this, our tabernacle, to the praise of thy most holy name.
Be seated.
Right, Eminent Companion Ives, you will now advance to the west side of the altar. You will kneel before the altar. Place both hands above the sacred triangle. You will say "I," state your names at length, and recite your obligation.
I, John Charles Ives, do solemnly promise that I will faithfully, zealously and impartially perform the duties of Grand Zerubbabel of the Royal Archmasons of Victoria for the ensuing 12 months, and until my successor has been duly elected and regularly installed in my stead. And I promise that I will conform to and maintain the Constitution of the Supreme Grand Chapter of Royal Archmasons of Victoria, and will inviolably preserve the ancient landmarks of the Order. So help me the true and living God, Most High.
You will seal that obligation above the sacred triangle. Rise, duly obligated, Grand Zerubbabel.
Be seated. Thank you.
Right, Eminent Companion Ives, in inducting you into your chair of office, and thus indicating the commencement of your government over our order, and I shall perform a most solemn and important duty. You will be invested as Grand Zerubbabel with great powers and prerogatives, and the interests of the order, for weal or woe, will be placed in your hands. I feel assured that you will have firmly resolved never to abuse those powers or pervert them, but would gladly strengthen your resolution by a few words of admonition. The very consciousness of possessing such powers should render a generous mind cautious and tender in its exercise. To rule has been the lot of many, but to rule well has not been the fortune of all who have had great Masonic powers. Yet so to rule should be an object of honourable ambition. It is not by the strong arm or iron will that obedience and order, the prerequisites of good government, are secured, but by holding the key to the hearts of many. The office of Grand Zerubbabel is the highest dignitary to which we may aspire, and its incumbent, to rule well, should possess a number of important attributes. As a man, he should be of good repute and practice the cardinal virtues of fortitude, prudence, temperance, and justice. As a citizen, he should be loyal to his government, obedient to its laws, and a pattern of fidelity and social and domestic relations. As a Freemason, he should adhere to the ancient landmarks, be proficient in the laws, language, and literature of the fraternity, be desirous to learn and apt to teach. As Grand Zerubbabel, he should cultivate the closest friendships and confidence of his associate officers, be patient in investigation, deliberate in judgment, and prompt in execution. Forbearing much with evildoers, he should be always ready to reward good, and always cultivate and practice everywhere and at all times the golden tenets of brotherly love, relief, and truth. Right, Eminent Companion Ives. I have indicated some of the most important qualifications that a first Grand Principal should possess, and some of the defects which he should avoid. The standard is high, and some have never reached it, but it is attainable, and I trust it will be your aim to reach it and be a bright example to those who follow you.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Go up to the mountain and bring wood, and build a house, and I will take pleasure in it, and I will be glorified, saith the Lord. Then Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, and Joshua the son of Josadak the high priest, with all the remnant of the people, obeyed the voice of the Lord their God, and the words of Haggai the prophet, as the Lord their God had sent them, and the people did fear before the Lord. Then spake Haggai the Lord's messenger in the Lord's message unto the people, saying, I am with you, saith the Lord. And the Lord stirred up the spirit of Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and the spirit of Joshua the son of Josadak the high priest, and the spirit of all the remnant of the people, and they came and did work in the house of the Lord of hosts, their God. Who art thou, O great mountain? Before Zerubbabel thou shalt become a plain, and he shall bring forth the headstone thereof with shoutings, crying, Grace, grace unto. In that day, saith the Lord of hosts, will I give thee, O Zerubbabel my servant, the son of Shealtiel, saith the Lord, and will make thee as a signet, for I have chosen thee, saith the Lord of hosts.
I invest you with your collarette to which is attached the insignia of your office. I clothe you with this crimson robe, a symbol of imperial dignity. And I invest you with this, the Lord Somers Memorial collar, chain collar, and to which is attached the jewel of your office. I also present to you your sceptre, the device surmounting the crown, an emblem of royalty. And may you reign sovereign in the hearts and affections of your companions. Righto, let's go. I surrender to you the seat of authority and place you therein as Grand Zerubbabel. And may the great I Am endow you with a competency of that wisdom which so highlighted your illustrious predecessors who presided at the Grand Sanhedrin. Permit me to render the first act of homage. I hail you, I salute you, and I declare you Grand Zerubbabel. Companions, behold our first Grand Principal.
Most eminent, right eminent, very eminent and eminent companions. Most excellent and excellent companions and companions. In the name of the true and living God Most High, I proclaim Most Eminent Companion John Charles Ives, First Grand Principal of the Supreme Grand Chapter of Royal Archmasons of Victoria for the ensuing 12 months, and until his successor shall have been duly elected and regularly installed in his stead. And you are hereby charged to render unto him all due homage and perfect submission. And I now call upon you to salute him with grand honours 9 times. Be seated, companions. Companions all, you will please rise.
Praise to the Lord, do not prosper thy
ladies, brethren and companions, and all who are viewing this presentation in other places near and far. Today marks the commencement of another page in the history of this Supreme Grand Chapter, dating from its inauguration in March 1889, when chapters meeting in Victoria under warrants issued to them from various Grand Chapters united to form this Supreme Grand Chapter. So today we celebrate the commencement of the 132nd year of service to Royal Archmasonry and to Freemasonry overall in Victoria. 2 years ago, in May 2019, when we last celebrated the commencement of a new year in the life of Grand Chapter, none could have foreseen the interruption to our labours which lay ahead. The pandemic, which has so significantly affected every facet of the fabric of our society. I pay tribute to Most Eminent Companion Peter Gurr, who, since his installation as the newly minted First Grand Principal in 2019, has led Royal Archmasonry in Victoria so capably, and especially so through the disruption suffered from early 2020. I also acknowledge the efforts of our Grand Secretariat during that period. Right Eminent Companion Wayne Smith, Grand Scribe Ezra, and Companions Craig Spendlove, Administration Officer, working from their homes to this day, have been an inspiration to our order and have succeeded in maintaining stability, keeping chapters and companions connected through effective communications, and providing and facilitating education for all companions via electronic media. At the time of recording this address, the clouds of the pandemic have partly lifted and Freemasonry is awakening from a long winter. I appreciate that at present a number of companions are uncertain about attending meetings. I assure you, my companions, I understand and empathise with your feelings. It is my hope and prayer that as vaccination proceeds and confidence returns, we will soon see a return to the full participation we enjoyed in days past. In all things, Grand Chapter will always be supportive and will be receptive to the needs of all companions and of every chapter. I am fully aware of the trust and responsibility now resting on me. I have promised to perform the duties of Grand Zerubbabel and to conform to and maintain the Constitution of the Supreme Grand Chapter. I confirm I will give my best endeavours to the tasks ahead. To be successful, I will need the support of every companion. I am confident that in the fullness of time, we will together succeed in restoring our momentum and will soon return to a time of peace and prosperity. I thank the past Grand Zerubbabels for their nomination and their confidence in entrusting me with this high office. I will work diligently for the good of the order. I thank Most Eminent Companion Peter Gurr, past Grand Zerubbabel, for appointing me as his deputy, for his support and encouragement of me during the last 2 years, and for this sincere and friendly installation ceremony today. Kay and I have been nurtured in a most caring and friendly manner by Peter and by his wife Helen, and it has been both my pleasure and my privilege to serve as deputy. I acknowledge with grateful thanks the magnificent effort and fine achievement of Very Eminent Companion Peter White, Grand Director of Ceremonies, whose sustained work, supported and assisted by a number of companions, have created and produced this filmed version of our grand installation. This is a unique occasion in our history, being the first, and we trust, only occasion such an arrangement will be necessary to present our grand installation ceremony. Very Eminent Companion Peter. You have achieved a huge and most successful result from your labours, and you have the thanks of every companion of our order. We are also most thankful to the audio-visual production company Jolt Media and its director, Brother Matt Salter, and his associates for their professional expertise and care in delivering this filmed presentation. To this I add my personal thanks and congratulations for a job well done. Ladies, brethren and companions, we Freemasons always acknowledge that without musical accompaniment, our ceremonies would be sadly lacking. Today we have enjoyed the support of the Coppin Community Choir, led by its director, Right Worshipful Brother Barry Reaper, past Deputy Grand Master, and accompanied by Worshipful Brother Andrew Kerr. We have also been privileged to have the support of a fine ensemble of Grand Heralds, who always lend so much colour to our ceremonies. To all you fine musicians, I say thank you for your splendid contribution to today's proceedings. I thank all the companions who have accepted positions in my team for the 2021 to 2022 year ahead. Some of you are continuing in your present positions, some are in different roles, and importantly, some companions are joining the Grand Chapter team for the first time. I thank you all for your participation in the year ahead. I trust you will all have a rewarding and enjoyable experience as we meet our companions in the chapters around the state. I wish to pay special thanks to my dear wife Kay. Kay's close and continuous support every day of our married life has been made possible by my involvement in Freemasonry. Kay and I are looking forward together with keen anticipation, working together to advance our order and Freemasonry in general throughout our region in the period ahead. To all companions in our sister constitutions around Australasia, we look forward eagerly to meeting and fraternising with you when circumstances allow, and together working for the advancement of Royal Archmasonry. Companions, I have appointed Right Eminent Companion Leonard Stephen Lacey, past Deputy Grand Zerubbabel, Grand Organist, as Deputy Grand Zerubbabel for the ensuing 12 months. And I will thank the Eminent Deputy Grand Director of Ceremonies to present Right Eminent Companion Lacey to Most Eminent Companion Hugh Campbell, past Grand Zerubbabel.
Most Eminent installing past First Grand Principal, we present to you for investiture and installation Right Eminent Companion Leonard Stephen Lacey, past Deputy Grand Zerubbabel, Grand Organist, whom the Most Eminent First Grand Principal has been pleased to appoint to the office of Deputy Grand Zerubbabel for the ensuing 12 months.
Thank you, Eminent Deputy Grand Director of Ceremonies. Right Eminent Companion Lacey, you will advance to the west side of the altar.
Thy presence may be
You will kneel before the altar. Place both hands above the sacred triangle and recite your obligation.
I, Leonard Stephen Lacey, do solemnly promise that I will faithfully, zealously and impartially perform the duties devolving upon me as Deputy Grand Zerubbabel of the Royal Archmasons of Victoria for the ensuing 12 months. And I promise that I will conform to and maintain the Constitution of the Supreme Grand Chapter of Royal Archmasons of Victoria and will inviolably preserve the ancient landmarks of the Order. So help me, the true and living God, Most High.
You will seal that obligation above the sacred triangle.
So help him Most High, and keep him steadfast.
Rise, duly obligated Deputy Grand Zerubbabel. Thank you, Most Eminent First Grand Principal.
Be seated, Companion.
Your office is one of great dignity and importance, since the Constitution provides for you to exercise any of the powers and privileges of the Most Eminent First Grand Principal when directed by him so to do, or when he is unable by absence, illness, injury, or any other cause to give such a direction. Portion of the sacred writings will now be read for your instruction.
Get wisdom, get understanding. Forget it not, neither decline from the words of my mouth. Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding.
Right.
I have much pleasure in investing you with your collarette, to which is attached the insignia of your office. I clothe you with this crimson robe, emblematical of imperial dignity. And I invest you with your collar, to which is attached the jewel of your office. Well, Right Eminent Companion Len Lacey, I have great pleasure in placing in your chair in this Supreme Grand Chapter at the right of the Right Eminent Second Grand Principal, and I declare you the Right Eminent Deputy First Grand Principal of the Supreme Grand Chapter of Royal Arch Masons.
Right Eminent, Very Eminent and Eminent Companions. Most excellent and excellent companions and companions, in the name of the true and living God Most High, I proclaim Right Eminent Companion Leonard Stephen Lacey duly invested and installed as the Deputy First Grand Principal of the Supreme Grand Chapter of Royal Arch Masons of Victoria, and I call upon you to salute him with grand honours 7 times. Be seated, companions.
Companions, I have appointed Very Eminent Companion Brian Charles Naismith, past Grand Scribe Nehemiah, as Grand Haggai for the ensuing 12 months. And I will thank the Very Eminent Grand Director of Ceremonies to present Very Eminent Companion Naismith to the Second Grand Principal.
Right Eminent Second Grand Principal, we present to you for investiture and installation Very Eminent Companion Brian Charles Naismith, past Grand Scribe Nehemiah, whom the Most Eminent First Grand Principal has appointed to the office of Second Grand Principal for the ensuing 12 months.
Thank you, Very Eminent Grand Director of Ceremonies. Very Eminent Companion Naismith, you will advance to the left side of the altar. Place both hands above the sacred triangle. You will say aye, state your names in full, and recite your obligation.
I, Brian Charles Naismith, do solemnly promise that I will faithfully, zealously and impartially perform the duties of Grand Haggai of the Royal Arch Masons of Victoria for the ensuing 12 months, and until my successor has been duly appointed and regularly installed in my stead. I promise that I will conform to and maintain the constitutions of the Supreme Grand Chapter of Royal Arch Masons of Victoria, and I will inviolately preserve the ancient landmarks of the Order, So help me the true and living God Most High.
You will seal that obligation on your hands above the sacred throne. Rise. Duly obligated Grand Vicar.
Be seated.
Very eminent companion Naismith, you are about to occupy the second chair in Grand Chapter, and by your counsel and advice, it will be your duty to aid and support your first Grand Principal in all the lawful requirements of his office. Your powers and privileges are extensive, but your responsibilities are equally important. The honour conferred upon you and the trust reposed in you will demand a corresponding fidelity and devotion to the highest interests of our ancient and illustrious order. It is with confidence that I remind you that you are to preserve harmony and discountenance all dissension. And as the glorious sun at its meridian dispels the mists and clouds which obscure the horizon, so may you, by your endeavours, dissipate the gloom of jealousy and discord, should it ever appear. I now claim your attention to a portion of Holy Writ.
In the 7th month, in the 21st day of the month, came the word of the Lord by the prophet Haggai, saying, The silver is mine, and the gold is mine, saith the Lord of hosts. The glory of this latter house shall be greater than of the former, saith the Lord of hosts. And in this place I will give peace, saith the Lord of hosts. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head, that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments. As the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore.
I invest you with your collarette, to which is attached the insignia of your office. I clothe you with this purple robe. Emblematical of union and harmony. I invest you with your collar, to to which is attached the jewel of your office, and trust you with your sceptre, the device surmounting which your radiated eye is a symbol of the universal presence of the true and living God Most High. Just go up there. I now place you in your seat, which is at the right of the first grand principal. Right Eminent Companion Brian Charles Naismith, I now declare you Grand Haggai of the Supreme Grand Chapter of Royal Archmasons of Victoria. Congratulations.
Right Eminent, Very Eminent, and Eminent Companions. Most excellent and excellent companions and companions. In the name of the true and living God Most High, I proclaim Right Eminent Companion Brian Charles Naismith, Second Grand Principal of the Supreme Grand Chapter of Royal Archmasons Victoria for the ensuing 12 months. And I call upon you to salute him with grand honours 7 times. Be seated, companions.
Companions, I have appointed Right Eminent Companion Bruce Lewis Alston Cowie, past Grand Jeshua, as Grand Jeshua for the ensuing 12 months. And I will thank the Eminent Deputy Grand Director of Ceremonies to present Right Eminent Companion Cowie to the Third Grand Principal.
Right Eminent Third Grand Principal, we present to you for investiture and installation Right Eminent Companion Bruce Lewis Alston Cowie, past Grand Jeshua, whom the Most Eminent First Grand Principal has appointed to the office of Third Grand Principal for the ensuing 12 months.
Thank you, Eminent Deputy Grand Director of Ceremonies. Right Eminent Companion Cowie, you will advance to the west side of the altar. Kneel before the altar. Place both hands above the sacred triangle. Say I State your name in full and recite your obligation.
I, Bruce Lewis Alston Cowie, do solemnly promise that I will faithfully, zealously and impartially perform the duties of Grand Gesture of the Supreme Grand Chapter of Royal Archmasons of Victoria for the ensuing 12 months, and until a successor has been duly appointed and regularly installed in my stead. And I promise that I will conform to and maintain the Constitution of the Supreme Grand Chapter of Royal Archmasons of Victoria, and will inviolably preserve the ancient landmarks of the Order. So help me, the true and living God Most High.
You will seal that obligation on the triangle formed by you. Rise. Duly obligated Grand Gesture.
Be seated, companions.
Right Eminent Companion Cowie, your acceptance of the office of Third Grand Principal pledges you faithfully to support your First Grand Principal and to promote the welfare of the Order with zeal and devotion. Your powers and privileges are extensive, but your responsibilities are equally important. The honour conferred upon you and the trust reposed in you demand a corresponding fidelity and devotion to the highest interests of our ancient and illustrious Order. It is therefore with confidence that we remind you of the solemnity and dignity of the office you are about to fill, and to impress your mind with a sense of your own dependence upon God. It is therefore with confidence that we remind you of the solemnity and dignity of the office you are about to fill, and to impress your mind with a sense of your own dependence upon God, and that perfection is not vouchsafed to man upon earth, perfect holiness appertaining only unto the Lord. A portion of Holy Scriptures will now be read for your instruction.
And he showed me Joshua, the high priest, standing before the angel of the Lord, and Satan standing at his right hand to resist him. And the Lord said unto Satan, The Lord rebuke thee, O Satan. Even the Lord that has chosen Jerusalem rebuke thee. Is this not a brand plucked out of the fire? And he answered and spake unto those that stood before him, saying, Take away the filthy garments from him. And unto him he said, Behold, I have caused thine iniquity to pass from thee, and I will clothe thee with change of raiment. And I said, Let them set a fair mitre upon his head. So they set a fair mitre upon his head, and clothed him with garments. And the angel of the Lord stood by. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, If thou wilt walk in my ways, and if thou wilt keep my charge, then thou shalt also judge my house, and shalt also keep my courts. And I will give thee places to walk upon these that stand by. Thus spaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, Execute true judgment, and show mercy and compassion, every man to his brother. And oppress not the widow, nor the fatherless, the stranger, nor the poor. And let none of you imagine evil against his brother in your heart.
vest you with your collarette, to which is attached the insignia of your office. I clothe you with this blue robe. Emblematic of the blue vault of heaven and of universal friendship and benevolence. I vest you with gold, to which is attached the jewel of your office. I entrust you with your sceptre, the device surmounting which the mitre is the symbol of your priestly office. I now place you in your chair, at the left of the most eminent First Grand Principal. Right Eminent Companion Bruce Cowie, I declare you Grand Jesuit of the Supreme Grand Chapter of Royal Archmasons of Victoria.
Right Eminent, Very Eminent, and Eminent Companions. Most excellent and excellent companions and companions. In the name of the true and living God Most High, I proclaim Right Eminent Companion Bruce Lewis Alston Cowie, Third Grand Principal of the Supreme Grand Chapter of Royal Archmasons of Victoria for the ensuing 12 months, and until his successor shall have been duly appointed and regularly installed in his stead. And I call upon you to salute him with grand honours 7 times. Be seated, companions.
Very Eminent Companion Mark Allen as Grand Scribe Nehemiah. Very Eminent Companion Alan G as Grand Harmoner. Very Eminent Companion Lee Norman as Grand Director of Ceremonies. Very Eminent Companion John Rebecki as Grand Organist. Eminent Companion Brendan Wallace as Deputy Grand Director of Ceremonies. Eminent Companion Colin Randall as Principal Grand Sojourner. Eminent Companion Peter Cohen as First Assistant Grand Sojourner. Eminent Companion Anton McAnna as Second Assistant Grand Sojourner. Eminent Companion Mark Eden as Grand Swordbearer. Eminent Companion Chris Hunt as Grand Standard Bearer. Eminent Companion Ken Calder as Grand Standard Bearer. Eminent Companion Jim Taylor as Assistant Grand Organist. Eminent Companion Guido Panoka as Grand Steward. Eminent Companion Graham Gully as Grand Steward. Eminent Companion Alan Jenkins as Grand Steward. Eminent Companion John Wishart as Grand Steward. All newly invested Grand Officers will assume the sign of fidelity.
Companions, you have been elected or appointed as Grand Officers for the ensuing 12 months. Your service in the Holy Royal Arch will involve a sacrifice of your time, but it will also bring you much happiness. The main qualifications required are zeal for the order and a readiness at all times to subordinate personal convenience to the service of the most eminent First Grand Principal and to the efficiency of the Grand Chapter team. Your association with each other will, I know, be a memorable experience which you will treasure for all time. And deep friendships which are about to form will be sufficient reward should such be needed for your years of active service in Grand Chapter. I trust that your devotion to your several duties and loyalty to the most eminent First Grand Principal and to each other will be your watchwords, and that you will strive to maintain that high standard of service and efficiency which has been set for so many years by your predecessors in office.
Very eminent and eminent companions. Most excellent and excellent companions and companions. By the authority of the Supreme Grand Chapter of Royal Arch Masons of Victoria, I proclaim the Grand Officers duly invested in ample form, and I call upon you to salute them with grand honours 5 times. Be seated, companions. Brethren and companions of all visiting delegations, including Grand Mark and Grand Craft, will please rise.
Most eminent companion John Ives, First Grand Principal. On behalf of, firstly, all Victorian Freemasons, and secondly, all of your distinguished guests, whether here present or viewing nationally or internationally, I offer you the heartiest of congratulations on your accedance to this important leadership position within Freemasonry, one in which you join together with Grand Mark and Grand Craft in guiding the fortunes of Freemasonry in this jurisdiction. We congratulate you, your co-Grand Principals, your Grand Officers and your companions. We wish you and them a wonderful year of service to Royal Arch Masonry in this jurisdiction. And may the Most High ever have you in his holy keeping.
Be seated, brethren.
Most Worshipful Brother Richard Elkington, Grand Master, thank you for your kind expression of congratulations to me and to this Grand Chapter on this Grand Installation ceremony. The support offered to me and to this Grand Chapter is very highly appreciated. I too look forward to a close continuation of the liaison and cooperation between our 3 orders, which has been so well nurtured in the past and will I trust, continue well into the future, for the benefit of Masonry in Victoria. Right Eminent Companion, Grand Scribe Ezra. Is there any further business?
Most Eminent First Grand Principal, I have to advise that the next Grand Convocation of the Supreme Grand Chapter of Royal Archmasons of Victoria will be held at the Bayside Masonic Centre, 237 Nepean Highway, Garden Vale, on Wednesday, the 21st of July 2021 at 7:30 p.m. Most Eminent, I have no further business.
Companions, assist me to close this Supreme Grand Chapter. Very Eminent Companion Grand Scribe Nehemiah, what is your situation in this Grand Chapter?
Within the inner porch of the Grand Chapter.
What is your duty?
To give due report of all approaching companions, see that they are properly clothed, and assist the Grand Scribe Ezra in his various duties.
Whom do you represent?
Nehemiah, scribe and expounder of the law, who, in conjunction with Ezra, carried out the important works after the return of the Jews from their captivity.
Where is the situation of the Principal Grand Sojourner?
In the West, Most Eminent First Grand Principal.
Eminent Companion Principal Grand Sojourner, whom do you represent?
The sojourners who went to prepare the ground for the foundation of the Second Temple, and there discovered amongst the ruins of the former temple the secrets of the Royal Arch.
Where is the situation of the Right Eminent Third Grand Principal?
At the left of the Most Eminent First Grand Principal.
Right Eminent Third Grand Principal, whom do you represent?
Joshua, the son of Josedek, who was the first high priest after the return of the Jews from the captivity.
Where is the situation of the Second Grand Principal?
At the right of the Most Eminent First Grand Principal.
Right Eminent Second Grand Principal, whom do you represent?
Haggai, the prophet, who inspired Zerubbabel to lead the Jews out of the captivity.
Where is the situation of the Most Eminent First Grand Principal?
In the East, Most Eminent First Grand Principal.
Whom does he represent?
Zerubbabel, the prince of the people, who led the Jews out of the captivity and built the Second Temple.
Companions, I claim your attention to the Right Eminent Third Grand Principal.
The Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace.
Companions, in the name of the Most High, I declare this Supreme Grand Chapter duly closed in ample, ancient and solemn form.
The day thou gavest, Lord.
Be seated, companions. Grand officers will take station on the floor of Supreme Grand Chapter. Companions and ladies, following the singing of the Australian National Anthem, you will remain standing whilst the Most Eminent First Grand Principal, the Right Eminent Deputy First Grand Principal, the Right Eminent Second Grand Principal, the Right Eminent Third Grand Principal, and Grand Officers retire.
To the Tell